So the time has come to try the mango cheesecake. And what I just did here is I have the juice of half a lemon on 2 packets of cream cheese. And I'm going to grab, let's see, about a spoon of sugar. There. Then I'm going to work these together with a fork. And after that, I'm going to try to add the mango flavor to the cheese with the whipped cream, put it all together. But for now, this is the starter. And some of you might recall, I did a mango milkshake, which is like the simplest thing ever to make video. We talked a little bit about getting a mango ready to eat, not traditional style, but just as simply as possible. And I'm going to do that same thing to here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the mango, I'm going to put it in a blender, and then I'm going to take some of the juice from cutting it and blending it and put that in with the cream cheese so that the cream cheese itself will get a mango flavor. And of course I have less sugar than you normally do in a cheesecake, and the mango will add a little bit of sugar as well, which has several functions in a cheesecake. There we go. It's the bit going. And then just make it easy for yourself, just like with an avocado or something. Just to scoop around the outside. There we go. And then this piece can be easily cut into smaller pieces. There we go. Take one more. There we go. And this one. A little more careful around the outside with this one. There we go. Actually, I will be. Voila, a little bit more meat inside there, not much. As you can see here, you already have some of the juice flowing out. And when the juice, I think I got a little bit to the side. Right there. Swish. Off. And blend them. Pop some of the mango juice in here and keep the blended mango just to smooth over. So instead of putting blueberries on top of the mango, I'm going to just put blended mango on top. And I don't need to add any sugar or anything. If you want to make it really nice, you could put some gelatine or something maybe to make it firmer and stickier. But keeping things simple is a rule. Magically, the blender has appeared. Cut these into slightly smaller pieces so they can spin around instead of getting blocked inside. And then if you wanted to, you could also make more beautiful big slices, obviously, of mango on top. I'm actually do both. I have a big mango, another one. But this is all I'm going to need for the juice to go inside. Like that. And if there are a few small pieces of mango that wind up going in with this, I don't really see how that would be a problem. The first of it, and there we go. I'll actually put some of this meringue. That'll do it. In there. And so this is what it looks like. And see if I can just fold this in nicely. To this I'm going to add very firmly whipped cream, and then the filling for the cheesecake will be done. The crust is easy to make. You put about 75 grams of butter, melt that, take about 125 grams of digestive. That's half of one of these small packages. It's about 250 grams, so about half of one of those. And I like to add a little bit of cinnamon, and then you add sugar, and really digestives are already sort of sweet, so you don't need too much. That's what I'll put. And then I just use a mortar and pestle and pummel this. After that, you put in the butter, and then you put it in a pan. And sometimes I bake it in the oven first. And all you need to do is just go through it until all the digestives are nice and small. Then put the butter in, and then into this one. So now, as you can see, this is fine. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. And I'll take the melted butter and just pour it right in there. There we go. Put that over to be cleaned later. Use a fork just to mix it up. And you can do it like this, put it in the pan and then bake the cake in it. Or you can do what I often do, which is just bake the bottom in the oven for a little while and then allow it to cool off before you put the cheesecake on it. Might be a good idea. So here we go. And this is what the finished product looks like. It'll stick together when you just pat it gently like that. You can already see how that makes a flat area. So when you put it in your bowl, it doesn't need to be blended in. It shouldn't be too wet. Just like this. We're getting closer. I had a little bit less than 3 deciliters of whipping cream left. And I have to admit that I'm going to be lazy. I'm going to use one of these things. When growing up, I never had an electric beater, but they do save a lot of time and effort. I do really like the old ones, but I don't really know where I can find a hand-cranked one here in Bangkok. Here we go. I'm sure that'll be done. And now comes the time to blend them. And so I haven't done this with a mixer, just with a fork, trying to keep it a little bit chunky. And this is whipped really hard. The reason is I want a lot of air bubbles to come into this to give the cheesecake a little bit of a lift, and then just fold it in, not whipping it in, because what you want is you want to keep those small bubbles of air that are in the whipped cream. And of course, if you use whipped eggs or meringue, it's the same kind of thing. They whip up means they have a lot of little air bubbles inside. And then, if you start whipping them again, those air bubbles will just disappear, and you'll have a soggy mess instead of something slightly on the fluffy side. Let's see. There you go. And I will admit that when I took the fork out of this, I actually tasted, and it has a mild flavor of mango, not too much. I think the citrus does a bit to alter the taste a little bit. It's a very interesting flavor. I think it might be a big hit in the finished cake. I was debating whether to have lemon at all, and I should look into the possible chemical reactions that might be taking place, or not. Either way, I think the sugar always reacts with the cream cheese, and I imagine the lemon does too. And so you get sort of a nice mix of flavors, because the cheese has that inherent flavor that I at least like to sort of minimize. I noticed it very much when I tried the coffee flavor. And that was okay, but it wasn't the hit that I had hoped it would be. So this is the finished filling, and as you can see, I haven't whipped it together to make it smooth. Still a bit lumpy, and that is fine. And the objective is just to fold in the cream so that you still have a lot of air in it, so that the cake doesn't get too heavy. Obviously I should have prepared by having a little bit more cream, but I think this will do just fine. And now this is done in the oven, and baking it and then cooling it off, possibly even in the freezer, will lead to the cake having sort of a more crunch to the bottom. It'll be a little bit more solid because the butter will melt a little bit and sink, and it'll have that lovely just hint of cinnamon, not too much. And so after having the reason, I took it off there so that the cold air can get under, and now the whole thing is nicely chilled and solid. And when I put the cheesecake filling in there, and I'll take the carving board out later, when I put the cheesecake filling inside, there we go, it should become, it should make a nice crusty bottom. So, like this, and plump right there. And that's how much filling there used to be. And it's a little bit hard because while I didn't want it to sit out at room temperature once it's been mixed with the whipping cream. Instead, I put it in the refrigerator so that it would keep its shape. And as you see, this is very easily done with a spoon. You just need to flatten out, because the mango is going to go on top. It doesn't need to be super smooth. What I found is that the generic cream cheese has more lumps in it than the Philadelphia. And of course, this is the generic kind actually, by the way. And also that if you really want it smooth, you can actually whip even the cream cheese. Today I didn't do that. I just wanted a different texture to it. And this is pretty much how the finished product is going to look. And then tomorrow morning, when it's all solid, I will put the mango on top. Well, it's about 5 o'clock on the morning after. Time to get up and make some coffee and finish the cake. And the process is extremely simple. We just take the mango, pop it on top, and after we've popped it all on top, I'll just smear it out like this, and then I'll have some mango left over, and we'll see what the results look like. So there we go. I've used about half of the mango and it's covered, and if I have some left over from this one, that is not a problem at all. I actually slid a knife around this before to make it come loose really well. Still catching somewhere. And I normally use 2 hands for this. Tell you what, I used 2 hands and come back to you. And that was 2 hands, voila. So you see it has the crispy bottom and mango topping. And now the only thing remaining is to actually give this baby a try. And from the cake, a little piece for breakfast, and I'll have part of that, and then I'll save the other part for one who is waking up soon, and that'll go down well with some coffee. But before I give part of this away, let's see. A little bit heavy because I didn't have that much whipped cream. I had more cheese. Flavors. Flavor is on point. Topping could have a thicker consistency. In my blueberry cheesecake, I put a little bit of sour cream, and I think I could do that with this one too. All in all, this could be a hit, as I hope this could be a hit. I still have to perfect my coffee cheesecake, but this one I think is ready to go. First try, and we'll see what other people when they taste it. We'll see what other people think when they taste it. Have a nice day.